Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode we're going to be trying something a little bit different again, so we've not done anything quite like this yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to copy someone else's list that's made a video recently and we're going to see if we can follow their instructions. So we've had one that was posted on the Discord, but yesterday JesterTheFoodDigester, who is probably the most consistent streamer going for Moonbreaker. They've been streaming on a sort of constant basis, and Jester recently uploaded a video to YouTube about their Rickety Backfire All-In list. And what we're going to be doing is playing that list and seeing if we can follow the instructions and, well, basically seeing if we can take it to a winning record. I think Jester said they've won something like 42 out of 47 games or something along those lines, so we're going to be trying out the list, see if we can be successful as well. What I'd recommend, if you are interested in this list and you want to try and find something that's got a really high win ratio, then check out Jester's video. I'm going to link it in the description below, and also check out Jester's stream as well. You may have seen Jester as one of the opponents we played against quite a few times recently. He's been in a few of our videos, but Jester is one of the most experienced players. He's already got a level 100 account, which is far more than I have, and so absolutely check that out, and you just help the community grow in general. Really solid, mechanical player right there. So the list we've got, we're playing a Zax Jakar list, and what we're going to be doing is trying to basically kill our opponent as quickly as possible. So even though the main game plan is Rickety Backfire, what we're going to be doing is turn 1 we're going to be playing Maximus, so the standard most aggressive one drop in the game. Turn 2 we're going to be playing Deadeye, so again just keeping up that pressure. Between these two and Zax we should be able to put a lot of pressure onto anything as well. And then turn 3 we're going to be playing Rickety Backfire, which saves us a Cinder so that on turn 4 we can play Quetzalli. So that means that when we play Rickety, we're actually going to play it out of range of things. We're going to play Quetzalli up close so we can move into range, hopefully get the Rickety explosion, and then actually move back again using Quetzalli so that we can get both turns of activation out of Rickety Backfire. Because Rickety often does damage to himself, this gives us a guaranteed second activation if we play it properly. So then the follow-up from that, we've got things like Blindsider Eztli here, so obviously just a powerful unit. We've got Amplifier Bitol, who's sort of like your go-to finisher, which is going to be just giving everyone +1 attack. And the understanding from Jester's video is that you want to play this if you can get at least 3 attack out of it is a reasonable option. And the same with Ursix Scattervine as well, just another finisher. They even said in the video, don't play Ursix Scattervine unless you can kill your opponent with it, because if they just kill the Scattervines it doesn't do anything. And lastly we've got Axl Pyro, who just, for 1 Cinder, it actually deals 5 damage just over a few turns. Now, this looks like an aggressive list, but it's even more aggressive than you think, because from what I understand, we're not supposed to target any crew whatsoever. There may be a couple of situations where we can, but mostly we're going to be going all face. So Rickety is the main event here. We're going to be trying to get that 6 damage in where we can, run away, maybe get 6 damage the next turn, and we're going to try and be all aggro all the time. So again, check out Jester's video, I'll make sure it's all linked in here, but we're going to have a few games and see if we can get to that same sort of winning record that they've been able to on a really consistent basis. So I think aggressive lists are still some of the best ones in the game at the moment, so that's why we're going to still be focusing on this style of play when we're playing for more competitive things. However, as Jester pointed out, if people know this is what you're doing, there are ways to build around it, but it's really, really good when it's into a blind queue and your opponent doesn't necessarily know what's coming. So we're going to jump into this, hopefully have a few good games, and I'll see you in the game. Okay, we're about to jump into our game and try out our Rickety Backfire aggressive game plan. So the question is, what sort of opponent we're going to end up against? And the interesting thing here is we're going to have to go completely against my nature, and the standard thing here is to just fully go into the enemy captain. So given that how aggressive we are, there's none of the standard either Disruptor or Vortex, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take Stimburst and Iron Storm. This is probably the closest to what we want. We're going to be as aggressive as possible, and we're against Major Havoc, which honestly is quite a cool name. So we're going to move up here to give us the best chance of a line of sight onto them. And honestly, I think we just deploy Maximus as aggressively as possible here because they can't get in range this turn anyway. So we're going to try and just move in, get some damage immediately, and move out as well. This is going to be as quick as we can possibly get into dealing damage here. And we wanted to basically leave Maximus away from the wall so they can't trap them into place. So it could be that they can play their own. Yep, they can. But looking at where they can reach here, what we can do is move in with Maximus, get our shots off, and then actually move back here and hide. So we might as well move in to get 100% chance to hit. There's no reason not to. And we've got a crit as well, which is excellent here. So we're going to move back here. So their attack range is about there, so we're going to move to just about here and take this shot as well. Okay, we missed that, which is unfortunate. And we can't place Deadeye anywhere safe, so we'll just put Deadeye just down here. So next turn is going to be our turn to play Rickety Backfire. And we're probably going to be playing Rickety over here. If we can do, we're going to just want to be as safe as possible. So that we're going to follow it up with that Quetzalli play. Okay, so they're going all in on us here. And this is fine, because we're all about going all in on them. So any time that they spend dealing on anything other than our captain is time that we're going to be spending on their captain. And I think that gives us a lot more versatility. Okay, so the fact that they've gone more damage onto us so far is perfectly reasonable. It's not something I'm too upset by, because we did get sort of disrupted into place. We can stim burst away from this turn, and we should be in a pretty good spot. Especially seeing as they can't play another unit this turn, and we can play whatever we need to. So I normally wouldn't stim burst here, but I just want to make sure I get out of range with our Zax. So we're gonna shoot them back here, and just move all the way over here. Try and keep out of that melee range. Then we're going to reduce the accuracy on both of these and just change that clock as much as we can. We'll get our 100% hit rate on this. We've got another crit. We're going to move back here this time. We'll take another high percentage shot here. Wow, we are really hitting big on these crits this time. And then we're going to play Rickety Backfire over here, and we're going to just go for the big finish next turn. So this has got our opponent down to 9 health. So when Jester was talking about the list, they even mentioned that quite often you can find yourself with an opponent down at less than 10 life at this point in the game. I can't quite get the camera angle I want to here to see if we've left them in range of Maximus, but they've come this direction anyway. So it might be that they go for us, but here we've potentially got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 damage. So if we explode, we've got this. If we don't explode, we should still potentially have this. So depending on what they place, we're going to just send Rickety in first. We might Quetzalli to run away and get that for next turn, but honestly we could just deploy more threats at this point. Oh no, okay, of course we don't need to. We've got Amplifier Bitol. So we're just going to place Amplifier Bitol down over here. And in fact, let's just go right over here and just try and get as much damage as we can on this front. So we've Maximus in first. Get that damage in. He wasn't quite in range of Bitol, unfortunately. We'll move Zax over here. Get that 3 damage. Over here for Deadeye. And we might as well go for the big finish here and use Rickety Backfire to just get that last hit. So that was a absolutely massive turn there. And one thing that was pointed out by Jester as well in the video is that we need to remember that Rickety's explosion does do additional damage on the explosion if you have Amplifier Bitol in range as well. So that was a really solid game, a really aggressive start. I do feel slightly sorry about, again, playing that versus a level 2 opponent, but it's all about, you know, having this consistency and having that ability to finish games really quickly. Hopefully we'll come against a higher level opponent in our next game, and we might even win just as quickly. So I'll see you back in the game. Okay, we're jumping into the game, and hopefully we're going to have a second game that's just as successful as the first. So let's see what kind of opponent we have. Okay, so we're against another Zax. It's a lovely pink Zax. Kind of gone the opposite in terms of colour here. So we've got pink versus... pink versus... my brain's gone. Monochrome. There we go, that's what I fainted mine. Couldn't remember my own one. Escape Hatch isn't ideal here, but it can save a lot of time playing Quetzalli out, so I think that's what we're going to do, because Disruptor is just fantastic. Look at that thing of beauty. It looks like they've actually dry brushed some of it as well. So they have put it looks a little bit more than just base pink. It looks like some potential dry brushing on there as well. Either way, I quite like it. Zax just has that flair to him, you know, when you just feel like he can hit any sort of colour scheme and really can pull it off. It's probably part of being holographic. Meaty Cheek Speed. I feel like I know who this person is, but I can't remember off the top of my head. This seems familiar. So let's say hello.
Your eyes don't deceive. I look this good.
I look this good. Yes, I do. So on this one, because we've got second wind, it means that we can potentially just go turn 2 Rickety. So that's probably what we're going to try and do here. They're going to play a Maximus out. So we're going to ignore Maximus and move this direction, because this gives us a shot onto them, and it means that they're going to have a hard chance of getting a shot onto us. So we should be able to get line of sight down here, from about here, and it makes Maximus very difficult to get onto us as well. And then maybe play our own Maximus somewhere over here, and just work on that sort of game plan. Okay, so... yeah, so we can get a line of sight about here. Might as well take it. 50-50. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to play our Maximus. And I think it has to be down here again just for safety.
Where am I?
And then next turn we're going to move forward and we'll probably play our Rickety down here. And then we could even just... ooh, Stim Burst. Okay, so they probably can get line of sight onto us here. But them coming this close to us is actually really good for us as well. It means that we can start really pushing for damage onto them as well. There's a good chance they could be using the same sort of list that we are. Especially if they play a Deadeye now, we know that that's the case. And it'll be interesting to see which is the quicker of the two lists. Oh, have they got Disruptor as well? They have, okay. Okay, so they've gone for our Max, which is, in my opinion, not the right choice here, because they can't kill Maximus without going for their... without going for Zax anyway. So I think we're just going to try our best to be as aggressive as possible. Yeah, so we're probably just going to push Beatrice out the way and try and ignore her, to be honest. But it might even be that we don't need to do that. We can just save that for next turn. And just move Zax into here, take our shot, and just go for it, really. So as long as we stay out of base contact here, this is what we want. And then we're just going to pop over here, take these shots, and then we're going to move over this direction, make it hard for them to get onto us. This can shoot over here. There we go. And we're going to place our Rickety maybe over here. And just gain that Cinder, so because it's enough for us to save till next turn. Next turn we are going to be able to play Quetzalli, so we're just going to save everything here and try and go for that big attack next turn and just see if we can slow them down enough that they can't take us out in the time that they want to. So what we're probably going to do is try and move up here first and then use our Quetzalli activation. But if they're just moving here, then this is fine, we can just use it straight away. Because we could potentially deal 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage next turn, but with Amplifier Bitol as well. So we could deal 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We could potentially deal 15 damage, so there's a chance we could actually have lethal here. Depends on what they play. If they play like a Scattervine, we actually are in a little bit of trouble here. But I think we've got a good chance of having this. We should be able to get them so low this turn that it's going to be really hard for them to sort of come back from it. So this list's really working well. It looks like we're on equal footing here because we're at 14, they're at 14, but they don't really know what we've got coming. And even if we play Quetzalli end up here, I'm pretty sure that gives us enough range to move Rickety Backfire into range. So I think we can do this. So I'm going to move to just about here before playing our Quetzalli out with Escape Hatch, so it is our most expensive unit. So the worst thing that can happen is it goes like over here. This is about perfect. So the Quetzalli range is over there. So we can just move over here in the first instance. And we'll get over here for the second. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play Amplifier Bitol about here. So we're trying to avoid blocking any lines of sight, but we want to stay out of that radius as well. Although, yeah, this should work. So we'll pop that in here. We'll go for all the big shots now. So start with Maximus. Push in for this. Okay, we've got a crit, which is pretty good. Go for this shot here. And then if this explodes, they're dead. There we go. That was absurdly fast. I can see why Jester's been having so much success with this list. That just took down our opponent on, what is it, turn 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. We just turn 3'd our opponent. That's absolutely absurd. So, again, this list is designed to be competitive. It's designed to be a very, very aggressive, fast-paced list. It's great for the ladder. Oh, well, when there is a ladder, it's great for PvP, especially into a blind list. And hopefully we can just run it back, get one more game in for this video, and we can see if we can go 3-0. And honestly, this list really impressed me. I think I'm going to be curious as to working out ways to defend against it, and that's something I'm definitely going to be sort of looking at doing in the future. I love the more defensive style of lists anyway, but there's no reason to not try out something as absurdly strong as this. With Jester having their track record and letting us know, there's no reason to not give this a shot. Okay, so Stowaway is no good for us here, so we could go for Escape Hatch again, but I think Vortex and Cinder Infusion would be the suggested options here. So let's just go for that. The question is, are we going first or second? I'm not even sure which we prefer, because I think it's really dependent on what damage we think we can get off early. So if we can potentially protect a Maximus, then second might even be better, just because we can go things a little bit quicker. But we are first. Okay. So we'll pop over here, be defensive, and place our Maximus just here. We just want to have as many defensive options as we can get in this situation. So they're going to go over there. What we will do, depending on where they place their unit, is we might even just pull them out into the open. Because in theory, this should be able to pull both of them over here. And that way we can just get some shots off, which is exactly what we want to be doing. Okay, so maybe we can get to that. So let's go for this first and take our shots onto Zax. Did miss, unfortunately. So does that have lines onto both, or just it's just one, isn't it? So let's go here. We should hit one of these in theory. We did, perfect. I think just going safe is the right play here. And then we're going to play Deadeye because we are going first, so we need to get that onto the battlefield, and we can follow up from here. So this is another one of those games where I have to consider my style of play and basically just realise that I'm not going to be able to do that, because I would here be trying to kill Maximus that turn. There's very little that could convince me that killing Maximus is the wrong choice. So I'm really trying to take Jester's thoughts on board. This is a bold decision. So this gives us a lot more reach onto them. And it may even just be the case that after we've played Rickety, which probably has to go over here maybe. Okay, they've got Plink, that's fine. Is this probably a Beatrice, I imagine? So if it's Beatrice, we're just going to try our best to ignore her and just move out of the way. And we're just going to try and get the damage in onto their captain. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, Beatrice is slow, so moving ourselves to about here gets us a good angle. And again, they're putting their captain in the front, and I'm not sure that that's the right choice. So, maybe there isn't somewhere we can be protected, but let's just go with... And we could even just go to about here. I think that puts us safe from Beatrice, mostly. Let's just go for point blank. Not take any risks here. So this is the angle that we want to go for. Take our next couple of shots. Again, we missed a couple, but that's fine. We're gonna... Here we're going to place Rickety defensively. For the same reason as previously. We'll Cinder Infusion Maximus because he's just super hard to kill. And we're just going to come in close to get that solid shot onto them as well. Because we're going to have an extra Cinder, we could even just place a mine because we're going to have one more Cinder than planned. And I think that's actually the right play here, is just pop a mine down here and make them do something about it. Because I don't see a world in which they kill our Maximus this turn. They can't get into range with this, even if they Vortex, they've got other things nearby. Yeah, so is this the actual... This looks like Gravity Disc, and if they're doing that, that's absolutely fine for us. We've left them in a spot where they have to move away to do this, and if they're spending 2 Cinder on that, there's a very reasonable chance that we just kill them very soon.
Team huddle.
Yeah, so this is fine in terms of... It's going to deal 2 damage to us. Actually, maybe it could kill Deadeye, so this... Okay, now it can't kill Deadeye, so this isn't as much of a mistake anymore. They've got their Incineroar Infusion. And then we're just going to push damage again. So we've potentially got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've potentially got 12 damage here, so we can just push right towards them. Try and get all of that done in one go. And see what we can do. Again, this is just going to come down to how... Ooh, the crit. Okay. So that's probably changed things here.
What's the hurry?
That's probably changed things quite dramatically. So this mine was a mistake. There was a good chance it was, but you never know with these things. Sometimes it's just worth trying. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try and deal the damage that we can. Move out the way. Gravity Disc over here. And I think this is a Quetzalli turn. So we just want Quetzalli over here, basically.
Nice and limber.
Move over because I believe we can get both in range here. Yeah, this will do. So this could be 6 damage. It is. We'll get
Taking my 15.
Get back to safety again with Rickety. Maximus can just move over here first so that Rickety can make sure they're safe. How many movements have we got left? 0. Okay, so this is just push that damage. Getting that crit's nice, and honestly I think we just hide back here as well. And because of Zax's positioning, we can actually just move over here. And I think this is good. So Zax on his own with Amplifier Bitol should do this. If they've got Bitol, they've got 4, 7, 10, 11. So they have actually got this if they've got Bitol, come to think of it. So maybe this was the wrong positioning of Zax. It just depends on what they're going to try and do here. Because we can play Rickety back out again.
Now we're talking.
Second wind, yep. So we may have miscounted this basically. And maybe we should have just moved Zax further this way and tried to get away from things like Deadeye. But no matter what... Yeah, so if they're not playing something like Bitol here, we're fine. They can't do enough here to actually stop us getting this win. They can obviously move, but given that we've still got Quetzalli and Rickety Backfire, it's almost impossible for them to actually get Zax to safety. So we've pretty much got this without a doubt. This has been a ridiculously strong list. Like, there is no doubting that whatsoever. Jester obviously knows what he's doing. Again, someone who's probably played more hours of this game in PvP than most other people have. So it's quite a sort of... It's not exactly a shock to see that they've done really well here. And this was Jester's own list as well, so... Yeah, they didn't quite manage to kill Quetzalli. They can place whatever they want, wherever they want. We're going to be able to move Rickety into range and get this kill in melee range. So we just move over here first. Does this put us in range? It does. And then, just for good measure, we'll pop Bitol down over here and go for the 100%. Perfect. Well, so we've gone 3 games. We're 3-0. Again, this is such a strong list. It's so aggressive. It's not my preferred playstyle, but it is obviously a really, really powerful list. It's quite a lot of fun if that's the sort of thing that you enjoy. Make sure you do go down and look at Jester's video in the description, because what Jester's done is not only give you a description of how the list plays out, but it's also a demonstration game from them as well, so it's a really, really useful tool to have. The reason I'm doing this video is partly to obviously just increase that sort of the knowledge in the community with my own videos, but also to increase knowledge of what community is out there. And Jester has been a consistent source of streaming for this game, so absolutely go over to their Twitch page and support them. Check out the YouTube video in the description, and most of all, like, comment and subscribe for us, and following all of that, have a good day.